Stop downloading skills from the internet. They don't know your context, and that's why it's not working for you. Instead, build your own from a conversation you've already had in Claude Cowork. That's exactly what I'm going to show you. Here's something most Cowork users never actually figure out. There's a moment in almost every conversation when you stop doing a task and start building a system. And if you miss that moment, you repeat yourself forever. I hit that last week writing a YouTube script. And because I caught it, I turned one conversation into 2 production-ready skills that now run the same way every single time. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, what a skill actually is, how to structure one properly, and when to know it's time to build one instead of just doing a task. No one is teaching this bit, the anatomy of a skill, the decision of when to split it, and the moment you know it's ready. So let me show you. So here's what happened. I asked Cowork to create a YouTube script skill from an analysis framework we'd done prior in chat. So this was a YouTube script analysis that we'd done by looking at the top Claude Cowork creators of our 90 videos. And Claude had found about 30 seconds of the hook patterns and the hook archetypes and the script structure. So all this information, this particular framework, the delivery techniques, what doesn't work, and obviously the beat sheet for my company and what I should be looking at, I told it to look at this and create a skill. So this was from a prior conversation. So here we can see that where I've asked Claude to go through the YouTube Cowork folder and create a YouTube script skill from the framework that we both did and ask me clarifying questions. So it went through that folder and got the script, and then it actually created the skill. And it made sure that it was under the 500 line limit, which allows Claude not to begin to hallucinate because there's too much information in a skill file. So when you download a skill from the internet, that might not be taken care of. So this is why it's actually good to spend some time, Claude, in a conversation to create the skill properly for your own context. So here you can see that the skill has now been saved to my YouTube Cowork folder, and it's broken it down exactly from the framework, and it's also included 2 reference folders, which Claude will refer to when it's giving me the output from using this skill, which is hook archetypes and pacing models. So that's how we created this skill from a prior conversation we'd had in chat. Because I realized I'm going to be doing this quite regularly, and I want to have a particular framework that I use for creating my YouTube videos. And I don't want to keep repeating myself next week and that week and the other. So everything that I use, my hook style, my pacing preferences, the templates I use, the delivery notes that I like, that is what you want to watch. That's the moment when you catch yourself thinking, if I'm going to give the same instructions again, the task actually wants to be a skill. So next thing I want to do is show you what a skill actually looks like. So this is something most people don't really go into depth in, and I want to really share this with you, which is an anatomy of a skill. So this is an anatomy of my YouTube script skill. You can see at the beginning, it's just really a folder with a markdown file called skill.md. That's it. At the very top here, you give it a name and a description, not a prompt. So this is mine, and it has a step-by-step workflow of exactly what I wanted to do with this skill. So the first thing is obviously writing a high retention YouTube script, which is a purpose statement. It gathers context. And most importantly, this is what makes it really powerful. It reads the references files, which is like your best practice folder of what this skill should always refer to in order to make sure it gives you a repeatable output. Because the thing with large language models they are not deterministic, they are probabilistic. So they will not always give you the same answer each time. And that's why skills were invented or created, which is a folder that gives the large language model domain expertise. And how do you give your intern or your team member domain expertise? Is by giving them examples. And that is what the reference folder actually is. So the main skill folder will stay clean and short and simple. And the detailed knowledge will be in the reference folders here. So when you click on this, I'm going to give this to you so you can actually go through it. It's a free document for you to look at. You can now see the reference pointers, which is progressive disclosure, which means that when Claude is referring to the skills folder, it will not read everything. It reads it as it needs. as it's building, which obviously reduces the use of your tokens and your limits. Okay. So I want you to think of it like this. The skill is the playbook, which is exactly what you do step by step. And the reference files are the appendix. You don't need to rewrite the reference files every time you run the play. It's basically something for the Claude to refer to. And here again, we have the full folder structure. Make sure it's under 500 lines, and your references are the detailed knowledge that the AI has to refer to in order to build it properly. This free document also will ask you all the things that you need to decide whether your task becomes a skill, which I don't think a lot of people think about, which is if you're repeating yourself, definitely make this a skill. If the output needs to follow a consistent format, like for me, I want the quality of my YouTube scripts to meet a certain standard every single time, yes, you definitely need a skill. And is that domain knowledge that Cowork needs but does not have by default, because they have not given Claude or Claude Cowork all these skills, because we need to decide what skills we need to give it in order to do the work for us. And then could this skill connect to another skill that you already have, which is a compound effect? Like for example, my YouTube script skill connects to my YouTube chapters, which is chapters I have below the description. That's one other thing I did. My video slides. So you can see the slides I showed at the beginning of the video. That also was created with a skill. So there are 3 to 4 YouTube skills that I have that all talk to each other. So rather than bundling everything into one skill, you also need to differentiate that different lanes of particular expertise. You can click through each section and then it will just show you exactly what you need at the bottom. This is what I use as a reference to make sure that whatever skills I'm building actually hits the mark. Now, making these decisions in real time while you're building a skill can feel quite murky. So I've built a skill builder checklist to make it concrete, and it's also free in the description box below. It will ask you questions that you actually need to answer before you start building. And it goes through when you should build the skill, how to write the skill.md file. This is for you to check Claude's work, not necessarily for you to build the skill because Claude will do it for you. Walk through it, and then you know exactly what to build and how to structure it without you writing a single line. So this is what actually makes it really interesting. When one skill becomes a system, you have a compound effect. So what am I doing? After I built the script skill right here, I then went along. I said I needed slides for the video. So this slides you're looking at right now is something that was built from a YouTube video slide script. So those 2 skills now talk to themselves. I even have a 3rd skill for the chapters, how to extract chapters from the YouTube video and create chapters for my YouTube description. The YouTube video slide skill will read the output of the YouTube script skill. So that is not 2 isolated tools. There are 3 things talking to one another, which gives you a production ready system. This is what I meant by compound effect. Every skill you build within a production pipeline can connect to one another. So you're not actually just using Cowork, you're building with it and you're creating a system for yourself. So when you don't repeat yourself too, you are creating an ecosystem that talks to one another. I keep iterating these things until it's perfect for me. You download skills from the internet. You're not able to do this thorough work of creating the skill for your own use case. And it is as simple as going through the checklist I'm going to give you, understanding the anatomy of a skill, and allowing the skills that need to talk to one another so that it's cohesive and that Claude recognizes a pattern in your work. So that was the journey from one task conversation to one skill to 2 skills that actually talk to one another, all from a single Cowork conversation. And here's what I want you to walk away with. You don't need to be a developer to build skills. You don't need to understand code or systems architecture. You just need to notice the moment that you're repeating yourself and decide to stop. Start with the task that you do most often, turn it into a skill, keep it simple, and then watch what happens when you start connecting them. Both free resources are in the description below. The skill anatomy guide will walk you through the structure of a real skill, section by section. The skill builder checklist will help you decide what to build and how to organize it even before you open Cowork. Whatever one you feel like grabbing, grab whichever one fits into where you are right now. If you're watching this and thinking, I haven't even used Cowork yet, start with my beginner tutorial right here. It takes you from 0 to autopilot in about 18 minutes. And once you've got the basics, everything I've shown you today will make more sense. See you in the next one.